All the tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG doggy.
Hello, and welcome to Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I am Russ, aka Morrus, or Morrus, aka Russ, and with me this week is...
It's me, Jessica from EN Publishing. The keen-eyed amongst you will notice we are minus a PJ this week, but do not fear, they will return. But sadly this week I'm missing my hype person that leads me into every Friday and the weekend. But nevertheless, we shall continue.
Oh dear. Well, we will cope without Peter. How's your week been, Jess? Mine's been a bit dramatic.
Oh, well, it sounds more exciting than mine. You go ahead, tell me about your week.
Well, someone did a fraud on my credit card.
Oh, it wasn't me.
Exciting. It wasn't you. Okay. Glad to hear. I was just checking.
All right.
Yeah, the bank sorted it straight away and everything, so it was fine. Although I had to go a few days without a card because they've got to cancel it and send out a new one.
Oh.
But yeah, that's never actually. It's quite common, like you hear about it, but it's never actually happened to me before.
Oh, no, it happens to me sometimes. Anytime I buy something online from a weird website, but yeah, it's fine. I just do it on the credit card, and then the credit card goes, "Don't do that," and it's fine. But yeah, so if it's you, you know that you're the fraudster that's watching us now, trying to get the details, don't bother.
Yeah,
that's how they do it. They listen to the podcast. That's how they hack in.
The other thing that I got this week, do you remember last week we were talking about how I'd backed this but not received it because I'd failed to provide?
Ooh.
I haven't actually. It literally arrived like half an hour ago, so I haven't even had a chance to take off the shrink wrap yet. But this is the Dark Matter Starter Kit, which is basically D&D in space. It's like a mini Void Runners Codex, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, very similar color scheme as well.
Yeah, that is good.
I'll enjoy opening that a little bit later.
No, not plenty. I started a new campaign this week, though. That is something I did. I started my One Ring campaign.
Oh, how did that go?
It was good. We literally just finished character creation because we were building our fellowship. So we were just we'd done like a session 0 going through what we wanted the campaign to be and made the basics of our characters, and we did that together. But then we just needed to like narratively fit how the party formed and who are not sponsor. What's it called? I don't know if it's called sponsor, but you have someone for your party that's like not patron or sponsor, but there's a word like that for it. And you can choose if it's Gandalf or Bilbo or something like that. It can be Sauron as well, because when we set it at this point in history, he's a nice guy. So it's as far as the world knows. So we're like, oh, it could be him. But no, we didn't go for that route.
So who and what are you playing is the question on everybody's lips.
Yes, well, we picked Tom Bombadil as the patron, the group person, because good choice, obviously. I am playing an elf. My vibes going into this, because everyone was playing, someone was playing quite a positive, fun person. We had like a fighter muscle mummy type, and then we had a staunch dwarf. So I was like, I will play a sad elf, and that is what I'm doing. So I'm being a sad elf. Why is she sad? We're still figuring that out, but she will be. But yeah, so I'm just doing classic Bose things. So we did combat to start with, and combat's quite different because you have different stances, whether you're far near, and it's quite nice. I think it can be quite narrative. We weren't getting into the narrative style of roleplay too much because we were just figuring out. We did like a test fight so we could get used to the combat. So it was more us just like asking questions and doing that. But I can see how it can make it very narrative and fun. And I'm hoping we can describe scenes like, you know, the big fights you see in Lord of the Rings where Legolas is jumping down the Oliphant and stuff like that.
My question is, if your patron is Tom Bombadil, who is very well known in Lord of the Rings for one thing, singing. He sings.
We have all the characters have a skill is song, which is and I've got 2 points in that.
Is your GM going to be singing at you constantly? That's the question.
Oh, that would be fun. I hope so. It hasn't been mentioned. Ben, if you're listening, there you go.
Right. We've got some news to get on with this week.
Yeah. What's been going on in Tabletop RPG space?
Tabletop RPG space. Well, it's,
world.
of course, is space.
Yes, of course.
RPGs. That's not what you meant, is it?
No, I meant the genre, the industry, the.
Okay, so do you remember Obelisk Gate from last week?
Oh yeah, we talked about it. We talked about how the that was talked about how originally the Vecna book was going to feature a big coming together of the obelisks that have randomly been in planes.
Well, guess what?
What?
Ray Winninger, who used to run D&D over at Wizards of the Coast, commented on this. So this came from an interview that Chris Perkins, who also used to work at Wizards of the Coast, did with Polygon, when he said that his plan when he was designing adventures was to have that happen. All these polygons, all these obelisks would reused in a time travel plot to go back in time, Vecna to go back in time, and you can fight Netheril. Or some such.
Which sounded cool.
Sounded awesome. I'd have loved to have seen that. But Wayne Winninger says that's not actually the case.
Okay.
So the Polygon interview was posted on February the 8th, and we talked about it that Friday. Winninger responded a couple of days later. So we just kind of missed our show, unfortunately. So we could have commented on it last week. So he says that he wrote the original brief for Vecna Eve of Ruin, which was supposed to be a campaign that celebrated the 50th anniversary, sent everyone on a tour of all the classic settings, which it does. Which it does. Lots of cameos from major D&D characters. Guidelines for including your own homebrew world, which didn't appear in the final thing, and the final battle was supposed to be below the dungeon of Castle Greyskull, which is kind of where D&D began 50 years ago. Not Greyskull, that's He-Man. Greyhawk.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I was like, maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't alive then.
Greyhawk, Castle Greyhawk, not Castle Greyskull. Although that would also be awesome.
A different, equally adventure, but different. Okay.
So he just said, had Chris led that project, because Chris was doing the sort of adventure design lead stuff, but got kind of moved into more management type stuff. Had Chris led it, he has no doubt that the thread of those obelisks would have been picked up. But he says that was not the original intent, and that's not what happened either. There was never any actual plan to actually do that with the obelisks, sadly.
So that was Chris's idea opposed to the D&D brand's idea. To clarify.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's not contradicting Chris Perkins. He's just sort of saying, had Chris Perkins remained in that role, possibly, that is what would have happened, but he didn't, and this is what happened. So, the final version of Eve of Ruin, so it was like this high-level adventure. You go to Sigil, and you get tasked with assembling the Rod of 7 parts. And these parts are all across the multiverse. And there's
across
one in
7 places?
Yeah, one in Kryn of Dragonlance, one in Ravenloft, one in Eberron, that sort of thing.
I do like that style of adventure, little fetch quest one. It's especially if you're doing a very spread out campaign. It's just nice because everyone knows what the objective is. It's not like you come back to a game after a few months, you're like, what are we doing? Where are we again? You're like, we're going to get bits of stick. That's what we're doing.
And I like the idea of a tour of the multiverse as a celebration. However, I got to say, I like the idea of that time travel Netheril story better.
Yeah, but I'm interested in the whole Netherese part of the lore and world, because every time I've come across it, I found it interesting, but I've not done a deep dive into it. So yeah, and I'd like to. The best way to explore, RPG lore is to have a character explore it with you in real time, because then you can uncover it. I think so.
Yeah,
I'll just wait patiently for somebody to run a game of it for me.
Fair enough. There was one other thing he said. So the article on Polygon, and this wasn't a quote of Chris Perkins' words. This is their own editorialization. They said that Eve of Ruin was supposed to be a sort of capstone for 5th edition before the new edition came in.
Didn't it come out after 2024 though?
I can't remember exactly what date it came out. But that was what Polygon said the
Okay.
The intent of it was. Winninger says that was never the case. It was certainly never intended to be any sort of coda to 5e. Okay. That wasn't in any way the plan. That wasn't Perkins' words either. That was completely Polygon's editorializing.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, glad we could clarify.
Yeah. Right. D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I saw this. Interesting. Let's talk about that.
Big plans for D&D Beyond. Because
as a digital first company, as they should be.
Well, yeah. They have published a roadmap for 2026 and onwards of the stuff that they plan to do, and it's big. It's a full rebuild of the game platform engine itself.
That's a big undertaking, especially because it's a live system.
Yeah. A whole new character builder, including a quick build thing, which
quick build thing.
It's like really quickly build a character by, rather than going through all the details, it asks you basically make a few important decisions.
So you're like, I want to be a sad elf, and it'll go, here you go.
It's all sort of, yeah, kind of.
Cool. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Ray versus the World, by the way, says that Vecna Evil Ruin was May 21st, 2024. There we go.
So that was just after the first book.
Yeah.
2024 rule set was published. Yeah. Not the Germans one though.
Yeah. So it'll ask you a few questions. So you're basically, I guess, you'll pick your species and your class and maybe an archetype or something, and it will do some defaults for you. It'll give you a standard ability score array. It will probably give you a standard equipment pack suited to your choices, that sort of thing. So you're making a character really quickly by making a few quick decisions.
I can see why that's useful, because if you're a GM wanting to have some pre-gens because you're doing a one shot and just bringing some things to the table and you're like, here, but I kind of pulled a face when you were talking about it, because I'm just worried that it's going to take the creativity and the fun out of creating your character.
Well, you can do both.
I know you can do both. I know, but will people lean into that and end up, this is me going to my old person rant again, saying now people using online builders don't know how to do pen and paper, and that takes away the understanding of the mechanics and why you're building it.
But Jess,
yeah,
you're not an old person.
But that is an old person point of view.
When people 15 years younger than you start saying that they're old.
Oh, they do. They do. I've got friends that age that said it to me. Like,
well,
so
you're 15 years younger than me, and you're claiming you're old, which makes me incredibly old. Then, by definition.
No. I wasn't saying I was old. I was saying that opinion is. I think that is an old person opinion.
Right. Okay.
The kids today need to learn to do pen and paper role-playing games. That's my old person opinion.
Fair enough.
Not me saying I'm an old person, but the opinion is. But yeah, I know. We've talked about this a lot. But that's what I'm saying about this D&D Beyond thing. I understand why it's there. It makes sense. I would probably use it if I was just doing some quick pre-gens, because I wanted to print out, 5 to 10 pre-gens to lay out for people to be like, here, pick whichever character you want. It would quickly do a range without work for me. And we want to get rid of work in role-playing games so we can get running and having fun. But the old person in me fears it.
I got a little bit of a detailed look at this roadmap.
Oh, nice. Okay, let's have a look.
So this is the stuff that is currently being developed. This is in active development right now. So we've got the character quick builder. You can see there is in active development. That's the thing we were just talking about. New navigation. Okay, just a different layout, I guess.
Yeah, UI
journals.
Tools.
Yeah, journals. Okay, yeah, sure.
Great.
A rules assistant integrated with the maps VTT, so you can quickly search for rules while using the VTT, and it'll give you a quick reference while you're playing.
Okay, yeah, I can see how that's useful. Yeah.
And then we got a complete rebuild of the engine powering it. They say it's multi-phase, so I guess they're going to do it bit by bit.
Well, because it's a live system, you'd have to, because that is a huge undertaking as well. I think. Like I don't do coding or anything like that, but I worked briefly in digital games for a year and worked alongside people that did.
Yeah.
And my mind boggles at the scale of that task for the people doing it. So fair play to them.
Yeah, exactly. Then we got shared dice in maps. So roll 3D dice in maps and show if your dice rolls to your party on the maps and characters. I'm surprised that wasn't already in there, to be honest. Okay, fair enough. Most VTTs do that, don't they? That's a kind of standard VTT thing.
I think so. Yeah. A lot of them do.
Yeah. And then we have a look at the stuff that isn't in active development yet. So this is on the roadmap for later.
Okay.
So this is not yet in development. So we've got a complete new character builder 2.0.
Wow.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So they're updating the current one, making a new one on the side. So at some point there'll probably be a switch over. That makes sense.
Yeah, I would guess. Yeah. Then we've got custom stickers and reveals. I don't know what that is.
Oh, you can upload your own content. So I guess this is like reactions when you like things, and yeah, you know, when people like react to something on Facebook by giving it a thumbs up or something like that. I'm guessing it's like a digital equivalent of that on the platform, but not like on a post.
I don't know. Yeah, possibly. DM prep tools. That looks useful. A suite of tools helping DMs prep and run sessions. That sounds pretty useful.
That is useful.
I mean, depending what it actually involves. Yeah.
Idea sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, we got some information from the chat there. So Gilthas says stickers are on maps. Reveals are images currently from D&D books.
Oh, so that's kind of like, this is what the monster looks like.
Oh, right.
You're going to fight it.
Right. So again, it's all right. So it's kind of just standard VTT stuff. Okay, cool. And then we've got player onboarding. So they're kind of like readdressing the onboarding. You know, when a brand new player comes along to D&D Beyond, what are they presented with? How are they sort of channeled into it? Because I guess it can be quite intimidating.
Yeah, I think it is overwhelming.
Yeah. So if you can just sort of like get there and it really gently guides you in, and I guess that's kind of possibly tied into that quick character builder where they can get you to build from the moment you land on the site, you can have a character a minute later.
Yeah.
And then go, oh, look, that's my character. I made that.
Yeah. Well, we have, it's not me that's mentioned it. It's a viewer of Rye versus World. They've said, where is the AI DM feature? So I'm wondering how much AI integration will be in these things. Because I was looking at, they had that assistant they said they're going to integrate. And I'm wondering, is it going to be like an AI? Do you remember when it used to be that paperclip that you used to have in Word?
I do.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be like an AI version of that. I mean, like, hey, it looks like you're looking up healing spells. Do you want to know?
Hi, I see you're trying to resolve the grappling rules.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think they've made a statement on AI integration or not. They've not made a statement regarding that on the roadmap, from my understanding. Is that correct?
I would be surprised if they used AI in the current climate.
I wouldn't be in this sort of thing, because they've been very clear, because they've said Hasbro is planning to integrate it in lots of different things. They said they're not going to use generative AI in creative projects, but would they use it in something like this? This might be a place they would.
That would just be a PR misstep. I don't think it would.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Wizards of the Coast famously don't do PR missteps, so they definitely won't do that.
Fair enough. All right.
That's what kept us busy and talking most of like 2020, I think, and 2021.
Yeah. True. Yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll see. My bet, if I had to put money down, I would bet that they won't be, but we'll see.
All right. How much? I'll put down the other side.
I bet you one dog. You can choose.
No, I don't want one of your. I tell you what. How about a drink at the UK Games Expo? We'll see what happens.
All right, but I'll probably buy you a drink at the UK Games Expo anyway. So
I know. So win-win.
All right, fair enough.
Anyway.
Fair enough.
Okay,
right.
So that's that piece of news. Okay, so I'll be interested to see what they're doing with that, because it's a really important platform for them. It's a huge undertaking, so I will keenly keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. That's big plans, but you know, this whole digital first thing is gonna transform D&D, I think.
Yeah, it already has. It already is, but yeah.
Right.
Buy your collectible digital dice.
D&D's biggest competitor is, of course, and I say competitor.
Is it us at EM Publishing?
Because yes, it's us. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, sure. It's us.
Yeah.
It is Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And they just launched a playtest for 2 new classes.
Yes. And from my understanding, these are ones that have been in the 1st edition, but now getting updated to 2E.
Yeah, so one of them was a class in 1st edition. One of them was a bard archetype in 1st edition. This is the art. I've got to admit, the art is not to my taste.
It's an art. I like the one on the left. I guess that's the Daredevil hanging down off like a trapeze swing.
I guess so.
I like that.
Yeah, so that one on the left is the Daredevil.
That feels very dynamic. Yeah.
And the orc on the right is the Slayer. And it kind of
doesn't look much like Buffy.
Yeah. The Slayer was a class in Pathfinder 1st edition. And the Slayer takes trophies from its enemies and uses them to basically buff its weapons.
I like that. That's fun. You know, every time I hear something fun about Pathfinder, I'm like, yeah, this is good. I need to get more into Pathfinder. I have played a few sessions, but I've never got fully into it.
Yeah,
I like the flavor on that.
But the thing is, you're not a crunchy gamer. You're very much more into the storytelling stuff.
But I think the story, and I know Pathfinder is more crunchy on the scale of games, but I think it integrates story and fun lore really nicely in it, which is what interests me, even though I'm not a crunchy player. Like, I hear that and I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, fun.
Fair enough. Let's give it a try then. Give it a try.
I have played a little bit of Pathfinder. I've never got fully immersed in it, but I've given it a go.
Pathfinder 2nd edition, basically everything is a feat. When you're building your character, you take ancestry feats, and then you take class feats, and then you take archetype feats, and everything is a feat. They're kind of
I imagine that makes it really customizable, though. So you could have similar classes, but they play very differently.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
It's like Lego with our character sheets. But anyway, sorry, what's the news on this? On these two?
Yeah, so the person on the left there is a Daredevil, the other class, and this was a bard archetype in 1st edition, Pathfinder 1st edition, and this uses a resource called adrenaline. Now, you get adrenaline when you take actions, because in Pathfinder, everything has a tag, whether it's a spell or an item or a monster or an action that you can do. Everything's got tags everywhere. Pathfinder is very tag heavy, and some things are tagged risky with the risky trait.
Okay.
So if you take an action that is tagged with the risky trait, you gain adrenaline, and then you can spend that adrenaline to power special abilities. Basically.
Cool. Again, thematically, fun.
The twist on that one is the adrenaline, you can only hold on to it for a round. So that means you've got to keep doing risky actions. You can't do something risky and store it up.
Got to keep upping the ante. You got to keep going.
Yeah.
Get that.
Yeah.
You see, this is a really nice way of mechanics supporting a role play. I just think both of these. But anyway, tell me more.
So these are going to come out summer 2027 in whatever book it is then. Because this year they've got a book coming out which features the Necromancer and the Runesmith as new classes, because there were playtests for those last year.
Yeah.
So next year, summer 2027, whichever book they're bringing out then, will have the Slayer and the Daredevil. So they've got a big lead time on this. Lots and lots of time for playtesting. The playtesting is running right through to April 10th. So lots of time to playtest and give feedback on this.
Okay, cool. Well, these look fun. I probably won't be playtesting them because I don't think my feedback will be very useful because I don't know the game well enough to critique it. But
yeah,
I like the sound of both of these. It seems like the mechanics really encourage roleplay and they encourage your character to behave in a roleplay way, which is really nice. I love it when roleplay games do that.
I think Pathfinder 2nd edition does that well.
Yeah, it sounds
it. Yeah. It is more crunchy, but I think there is reward for that crunch.
Yeah, and there's space for crunchy games. I think I'm not like I gravitate to less crunchy games, but I think I've definitely got space and time for them because they do what they do really well.
Right. So talking about, we just said that Pathfinder was Wizards' greatest competitor. Did we not? A minute ago.
You did say that, yes.
I did make that statement, and that is true. But there was an article. There was an article on Cannibal Halfling Gaming about the 5 tiers of RPG publishing.
Yes.
Which I thought was really interesting. Yeah.
You shared this and I read it and it was very interesting. Please tell the listeners, because I think they also will find it very interesting if they've
Okay. So they divide RPG publishers into 5 tiers in order of scales, where you've got wizards at the top and you've got the smallest 1-person indie creators right at the bottom. And they basically do it by their annual revenue. Is how they divide these up. So right at the bottom, the category which is basically everyone else, the vast majority of game designers, which is under $100,000 revenue per year.
Yeah.
So that's most things. Like occasionally you'll see Kickstarter campaigns which do 100,000 or so, but the average RPG Kickstarter doesn't do that. That's just the ones that we see because they make a bit of a splash. But for everything that does $100,000, there's 50 that did $3,000.
Yeah.
So the majority are under 100,000, and these are generally 1 or 2 person bands, possibly working from home or remotely. Maybe do a Kickstarter a year, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's almost the entire industry, really.
Yeah, that's the majority of it.
Then we got the next category, which is where we would probably fit in. So this is up to $500,000 annually. So there's 100,000 to 500,000 million annually. They've kind of given a little poster child for each category here, just so you can envisage it. So this is Evil Hat.
I always thought of Evil Hat as bigger than that.
Well, yeah. So in quarter 4 2025, they made about 150,000 in sales in quarter 4 2025.
Okay.
So that's quite significant.
I mean, yes, that's money. Like, yeah. So
they did about 500,000 total in 2025, just over, about 600,000 actually. But Evil Hat is interesting because they share their quarterly sales figures. They share these.
That's a known. Oh, that's probably why they've chosen them, because it's a known quantity.
Yeah. Fred Hicks is big on sharing the data, and you can literally go and see spreadsheets of Evil Hat sales broken down by product and market and all this sort of stuff. So you can sort of say, oh, this book sold this many. And you can look at that and you can see the profits and everything there. It's very, very open with it. So if you're looking to sort of look behind the scenes of game companies' finances, Evil Hat's the one, because they share it. They're really open about it.
There we go.
Big on transparency. So this is also where most of the sort of whenever we very frequently just see a successful Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Usually they will be in this category.
Yeah.
So they will have done up to about 500,000 revenue that year, and it will mainly be that Kickstarter. And they'll probably won't do another one of those for another few years, another couple of years or something. Like, they're not like us. We do like 10, 12 a year. But
lots of little ones,
yeah. But most people don't do that. Most people do one big one every few years. That's the standard model. We're a bit different. There are others that do it the way we do it, but not many. So that's the next category. So Evil Hat Productions is the next category up. Next, we're in the category which is kind of Steve Jackson Games. This is where you start getting a lot bigger than us.
Yeah.
This is about 5 million annually. Lots of money. Lots and lots of money. I mean, they've got things like Munchkin and things like that, haven't they? They've got some really sort of big selling, very, very popular non-RPG stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not a direct comparison, I suppose. But they've got GURPS, they've got the Fantasy Trip and things like that. They've got a range of RPGs as well. But they do about 500,000 a year, give or take, depending on the year. They're also quite transparent with stuff, because Steve Jackson Games posts I think they call it their stakeholders report every year, because it's not just shareholders. In fact, it's privately owned, but it's not shareholders; it's stakeholders. Who has a stake in this company? And they say, well, the owner of the company has a stake, the employees have a stake, the customers have a stake. You know, all these different groups of people have different stakes. Retailers have a stake in the company in the sense that they have an interest in. It matters. It matters to them. So they do this stakeholders report every year, which is quite transparent, where they talk about what's happened that year, and they share a lot of numbers and figures and finances in that too, not to the detail that Evil Hat does, but more so than most companies do. Then we move into the kind of $50 million annual companies, and here, well, only
who is that?
Paizo, basically, only Paizo.
Okay, I was about to say.
They estimate Mongoose Publishing, who we went to visit last week. We've got lots of stuff about that coming out very soon.
Yes, we do.
They estimate that being they're sort of 8 to 22 million, but that is an estimate.
Yeah.
$50 million for Paizo. I mean, again, you don't know for sure. They're not as transparent as, say, Evil Hat or Steve Jackson and their figures. They're not publicly traded either. They're a private company. So the estimate is, if not 50 million, certainly sort of 40-ish, 40 plus. So yeah, they're a singular entity. They're the only company in that category in our industry. As you can see, the jump from 5 million, for which there are a handful of them, like Mongoose, Steve Jackson, sort of things like that, to 50 million, which is Paizo, which is 10 times the size.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then we make a big jump by, again, 10 times the size again, to 500 million annually. Guess who that is?
Oh, that must be...
Who could it possibly be?
Well, you've already mentioned us, so I know it can't be us.
I think you'd be aware if we were making 500 million.
I should be, as the businessman. Imagine if I hadn't noticed. Oh, it's all in a side account. Oh. Why are we staying at the budget hotels when we go to conventions? That's your Hasbro up there, I'm guessing.
So that's D&D basically. That is D&D.
And no one else.
Hasbro itself had like 5 billion in revenue.
Oh yeah.
But
Wizards of the Coast is
million of D&D. Of course, D&D is far more profitable than the rest of Hasbro. Most of the rest of Hasbro. So, although it makes about 1/10 of Hasbro's profits revenue, it makes a lot more than 1/10 of Hasbro's profits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and stuff like that is not just D&D, but Wizards is big. 10 times the size of Paizo, which is 10 times the size of Steve Jackson Games, which is 10 times the size of us. So, these orders of magnitude as they go up, you realize just how teeny tiny we are, and we're 10 times the size of the companies right at the bottom of the scale. It's like the way that it goes up in orders of magnitude is scary. But anyway, the other one thing I wasn't sure about was Games Workshop, because Games Workshop, I guess because it doesn't currently publish RPGs, it has done in the past.
Yeah, they're tabletop wargaming miniatures and things.
Yeah,
like that.
they're Warhammer RPGs. They license out to Cubicle 7, don't they?
Yeah.
But they do. They're about the same size as Wizard of the Coast, possibly a bit bigger, in fact, in terms of revenue. But of course, they're not. They're a slightly different type of company, I guess.
Yeah,
but they're big. They're enormous. They're enormous.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so that's the 5 tiers of RPG publishing. So when we made that joke about Paizo being the only competitor to Wizards, rather they're a 10th.
You feel justified.
Yeah, but they're a 10th. They're a 10th the size.
But the link is in the show notes, the original article by Cannibal Halfling Gaming. So go read that because it's really interesting and it's a good bit of journalism by them. So look at that.
It's really interesting. It is really interesting. I mean, I haven't been able to verify the numbers. I trust that they've looked at the numbers and the numbers they're citing are accurate.
in the comments there were links. I read the article and I
Yeah.
could see there were comments, and they said if you want to look at data yourself, they had links to stuff. So it's all there if you want to do a deep dive, dear listener.
Yeah. Okay. So, manga. Anime. Manga being a type of anime, I believe. Is that correct? Is that correct? Have I used the words right?
Well, they are both things. You got the wrong graphic up for it,
got the
though.
wrong
Should I
graphic up.
correct it? There you
we
go. Yeah. So, do you want me to talk about this then?
Sure.
Okay, because you seem really enthusiastic. That's fine. So now I'll have you talk about it. So we're talking about Ghost in the Shell. So there's another Ghost in the Shell TTRPG coming out. So those that don't know, Ghost in the Shell is a manga and also an anime. And a manga is the written format, so like a graphic novel. But
is it?
And
yeah,
and
I learned a word.
Anime.
Right.
Anime.
I didn't actually know the difference between manga and anime. Now I do.
There you go. An anime is a visual animation. So like, I don't want to use the word cartoon, but you know.
But it's a cartoon. Yeah. Okay.
Animated visual series.
So manga is a comic book and anime is a cartoon. Okay.
Yeah. So Ghost in the Shell is available in both formats. There's also been other films. It's a big brand that popular people are aware with. The reason we're talking about this week is Mantic Games has just announced a new Ghost in the Shell TTRPG that is based on the manga. So the artwork and the references are all going to be based off the manga. And the reason I'm clarifying this is because people might know there was last year a Ghost in the Shell RPG made by Mana Project Studios, but that was based off the anime. So still Ghost in the Shell, but their reference points and where they're pulling on for slightly different. And people that are big fans of Ghost in the Shell will be able to tell you all the differences between the manga and the anime, which there are.
I know the difference. One is a comic book and one is a cartoon.
Despite having bright pink hair, I'm not the person to talk you through that. But you can find those resources online. But anyway, so Mantic Games have announced that they're doing a Ghost in the Shell TTRPG, which they're planning to publish this year in 2026. I don't know the exact date. But yeah, so it is using a bespoke design for the game system. It's being created by Alesso Cavator and Zach Barouh. Barouh? Barouh. Sure. I apologize for my incorrect pronunciation, but it's being designed by them, so it's got its own system, which I'm excited for because I love it when things aren't just a 5e skin. But yeah, so it's planning to have immersive RPG. It's going to be fast-paced, narrative-driven. So it appeals to me, and the RPG has all the illustrations from the manga because I think that's a nice thing when you've got like when we did Judge Dredd based off the the graphic novels, we had all the artwork from that. So it's really nice and easy to make a beautiful RPG when you're using that sort of reference point.
That is one of the big benefits of licensed games is your art budget becomes zero.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous because you've got all this stuff from the manga, and it's yeah. But yeah, so that'll be coming out. So I'm sure people are familiar with Ghost in the Shell, but it's cyberpunk sci-fi sort of genre really that's coming through. But yeah, I'll see how well this goes because the Mana Project Studio raised just over $500,000 on Kickstarter, and it is due to come out in 2026 as well. So if you are a Ghost in the Shell fan, this is a year for you. There's 2 RPGs based off one of the anime and one of the manga.
Like me, I'm a big Ghost in the Shell fan.
I can tell.
Big fan.
I can tell. That's why I thought I'd cover this piece for you because you were like,
I wouldn't be able to contain my excitement. That's the thing. So
exactly. Yeah. That is coming out from Mantic Games, and yeah, so we'll hear more as it comes out.
Can I ask a question?
You may.
What is the shell that the ghost is in?
Well, that's the reference to humanity and machines, isn't it?
Oh, I see.
It's yeah.
Oh, it's not like this little seashell and Casper the Friendly Ghost just pops out or anything like a genie in a bottle.
Yeah, it's like sentience in AI, like Blade Runner do sheep. Do robots dream of electric sheep?
Blade Runner do sheep.
Yeah, no. No, Blade Runner do.
No, you are correct.
Do robots dream electric sheep?
No, you're right. It's just the way you just said Blade Runner do sheep. I just thought it was funny.
The way how Blade Runner do sheep.
Yeah.
I knew what I meant. Look, it's Friday. It's been a long. And that's what Ghost in the Shell is.
Yeah.
It's the accidental code, unintended code. Anyway, that's what that's about. You're welcome. I explained that very well.
Okay. Right.
Good. I do podcast, talk, tell news. Good.
It's good. is good,
good.
talk.
Yes.
Use good words. Use words good.
Word good.
Yeah.
Explain. Tell.
Yeah. So, shall we talk about Ryan Dancey?
Okay.
So Ryan Dancey, for those who do not know, has a long and storied history in our industry. He was vice president of Wizards of the Coast back in 1999 or so, oversaw the acquisition of TSR when TSR was fading and Wizards of the Coast bought it, oversaw that process, was vice president of Wizards of the Coast when they brought out D&D 3rd edition and basically brought the brand back from the dead. Was the architect of the open gaming license, and is probably, which is probably one of the most transformative things that's ever happened to this industry, the advent of open gaming, and has for the last 10 years worked at Alderac Entertainment Group, which is one of the larger board game companies in our industry. He was the chief operating officer of Alderac Entertainment Group, AEG, up until, well, this week. So he is no longer working at AEG.
Okay.
And this is because he did what we like to call a Ratner. And those probably UK listeners will be more familiar with that. Older UK listeners will be more familiar with that reference. And I'll go into that a bit in a minute. But basically, someone on LinkedIn said that AI couldn't come up with games like Tiny Towns or Flip 7 or Cubitos. And these games are games that AEG produces. And it says AI couldn't come up with such games because it doesn't understand the human element of fun. And I have to agree with that, because if you just try asking ChatGPT to tell you a joke, see what happens. It doesn't work. However, Ryan Dancey responded very publicly, I have zero reason to believe that an AI couldn't come up with Tiny Towns or Flip 7 or Cubitos. He went on to say other stuff, but basically he said AI could make AEG's games.
Okay.
I think people are starting to see where the Ratner reference comes in. He also went on to say that only twice in his lifetime have there been new forms of gaming entertainment. Now, I'm not sure I agree with this, because he says that the only two times that ever happened were D&D, which obviously happened in the 1970s, and Magic the Gathering, which happened in the 1990s. Obviously, he was instrumental with both brands.
Yep.
I mean, I can't take the credit away from him there. He has been very, very important to both of those brands.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the OGL impact is enormous. Can't overstate that.
Well, just the saving of D&D as a brand from when it was basically in the late 90s, virtually non-existent. TSR was collapsing. You couldn't get D&D stuff. They weren't in the shops anymore. It was all horrible. So, I can't deny that this happened. However, I dispute that perhaps they're the only two times in the last 50 years, or however long his lifetime is, that there have been new forms of gaming entertainment. I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, just video games for a start.
Yeah.
Didn't even mention
that. The evolution of that industry is enormous.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Baldur's Gate 3. Take a shot, everyone.
Yeah. So he says game publishing isn't an industry of unique special ideas. It's an industry of execution, marketing, and attention to detail. All things AIs are greater. I mean, I get what he's trying to say there. I mean, it's not about having an idea. It's about doing the work,
Yeah, but equally, you want to do the work on a cool idea, because I want people making stuff that they're excited about, that is interesting, that is new, not just rebranding and pumping out stuff. Because if you've got good marketing and good company things, you can pump out the same stuff constantly and it'll sell. But I make a screwed up face at that.
So he posted that online,
and it went down really well.
Well, there was a significant negative backlash to it. One example, but a lot of people responded very badly to this for obvious reasons, because it's not right. Said this was the Cardboard Herald, which is a board game reviews outlet. Said on Blue Sky, as you may have seen, AEG CEO Ryan Dancey stated that AI can make games just as good as Tiny Towns or Flip 7 or Cubitos, completely missing the inexorable humanity involved. We've spent 10 years celebrating creatives in the industry. Until he's gone, we will not work with AEG.
Oh, okay.
That's one example. I mean, a lot of people pushed back on it, but that was kind of one big example that I saw. So John Zinser is the CEO of AEG, Chief Executive Officer. Ryan Dancey was the Chief Operations Officer, which is basically what you do. There's another name for the job that you do. It's the day-to-day management of the business.
Yeah.
So John Zinser announced on social media that today I want to share that Ryan Dancey and AEG have parted ways.
Okay.
He says it's not an easy post to write. Ryan has been a significant part of AEG's story. He's been there for like the last 10 years. I'm very grateful for years of work, all this sort of stuff, the usual sort of thing. But yeah, he basically got fired pretty much the next day.
Wow. I mean, I get why, because as in a leadership position, what he said was really rude to people that designs the game. Because it'd be like the equivalent, you turn around and be like, Jess, I mean, what you do, you could easily be replaced by a robot. Regardless of whether or not that's true, that's really rude and demotivating for your staff. Like, to publicly say that, you know?
Do you reckon this chap recognise him?
Only because before the podcast, I told you about him.
Okay. So this is Gerald Ratner, and Ratner's group was, in the late 80s, the biggest jewelry retailer on the planet. It owned lots of brands, H. Samuel, Watches of Switzerland, loads of them. Thousands of stores in the US and Europe, owned lots of big chains. Just a really, really, really big jewelry retail group. So Gerald Ratner managed to crash that business overnight.
Whoops.
By saying that his products were total crap. I mean, he was saying these as a joke at a speech. He was making jokes, but they were just the wrong jokes. So he said that his products were total crap. And when people talk about how things are cheap, he says that his products are cheaper than a prawn sandwich, and the sandwich will probably last longer. He basically turned around and said that the products that his company sold were rubbish, which is kind of what, when you turn around and say that AI could make all of our games, that's kind of what you were saying.
Yeah, I see the parallel. Yeah.
So basically, what Ryan Dancey has done is, and this created a saying. It's a saying to this day, to do a Ratner, to totally tank your company overnight. I mean, what happened was the company lost like $500 million in value overnight.
Okay,
it ended up having to completely rebrand, and then got bought out by the Signet Group, I think it was. Ratner himself had to resign a year later in like 91 or 1991, 92 or something around that, early 90s, and basically disappeared off the public stage for like 10 years or so. His life fell apart pretty much, I guess. His job, his business empire, massive global business empire, biggest jewelry business on the planet, just collapsed overnight. Just saying one thing one silly thing online.
Yeah.
I'm not even online now. Obviously, that was
in public, in the public.
It was in public,
sphere, yeah.
and there were headlines. There were like the tabloid headlines all about it. Like,
yeah.
So what's happened here is Ryan Dancey's kind of done a similar thing, and so the CEO of the company's turned around and said, you've kind of made your position now untenable because you basically turned around and said that our products
are AI slop.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, basically. And they're not. They're not.
They're not. Yeah, no, I
humans. Yeah,
they've got a lot of good games. I've got a lot of their games on my shelf over there.
Yeah.
And if you look at the names of some of those designers and what they make,
yeah,
that's it. I mean, I mean, this isn't the first time Ryan Dancey has said stuff online. So I'm wondering if this was like a straw that broke the camel's back situation, or if this was the thing that was the line for them. Because if I think we talked about it time back in 2023. Dancey made some comments. There was a conversation online happening about how female games designers are underrepresented in the industry, which is interesting because if you look at the player base of board gamers, it's pretty evenly split. And he said something like females are socialized in the West to avoid situations where they're subject to harsh criticisms, and being a board game designer means you get that. And he said that males are socialized to take the punches and keep moving forward, and maybe that's why there's a gap, which didn't go down well, especially with big famous game designers, which I also think is weird because as a woman, if you look at women online, women get criticized all the time. We're very used to it. But it's an odd take. But that wasn't something that sunk that. But this was the thing that did. So I wonder if this is just an accumulation or if...
Well, it's not the first thing. Like, Ryan Dancey had to resign from Gamma, the game Game Manufacturers Association. When he was, I believe he was treasurer or secretary. I can't remember what his role was at the time, but he... it was found out that he had been basically spying on the private director's mailing list. There was a big explosive fallout about that in the early 2000s, and he had to resign. So I think you can't argue with Ryan Dancey's contributions to the industry.
Yeah, and I wouldn't.
He has transformed this industry multiple times. Again and again, he has done this. In this industry, he is without doubt a force to be reckoned with. You put him in charge of your company, he will turn that company into a successful company. But on the other hand, he has a tendency to put his foot in his mouth when talking publicly online and saying things that, I mean, there's multiple occasions. And, as a caveat, I do have to say, in all transparency, I not well, but I do know Ryan a little bit. I've interviewed him a few times over the years, met him a few times. Not, not well enough that I'd say that we're friends or anything, but certainly enough that I could have an elevator conversation with him or something,
Yeah.
So I do know him a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, it is something that happens to him more often than it happens to other people, it seems.
Yeah.
And I kind of, I mean, he has made a comment since. He's commented on this. So he has said, this morning, John Sincer and I talked about the aftermath of my post yesterday about the ability of AI to create ideas for games. He's decided that it's time for me to move on to new adventures. Sorry to have to end things like this. I've enjoyed my 10 years at AEG. I wish the team there the best in future endeavors. But he goes on to say more. He does say, I believe we're at a civilizational turning point. He says this is like the agricultural and industrial revolution, and we need to talk about it. And he says that people are afraid to discuss the topic, and talking about AI, being honest about what it can and cannot do, which I do agree. We do need to talk about it because obviously it is revolutionizing not just our industry but the world. It is making changes to the world, but I don't think that is an accurate description of what he did necessarily. He basically turned around and said the work that these talented game designers did could have been replicated by AI, is what he said. he does then go on to say that humans have a unique creative spark that differentiates us and makes us special. So he does understand that, but and he does say he doesn't believe that AI will replace the work that talented game designers do, and he doesn't think it's appropriate to replace designers with AI. So
it feels like he's taken his words back a little bit, is what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know.
I mean, maybe I'm being a bit too unnuanced in my listening there, but
yeah. I don't know whether.
No. We're just reporting the news.
I think he's not taking it back, though, is he? He's not saying I was wrong in what I said. He's not saying like what I said is not what I meant. He's not saying anything like that.
No, he's not that clear or concise, but
yeah. I don't know. I mean, from my point of view, basically, he did a Vecna is what's happened. And
yeah, I think that's a really good summary of what happened there. Well, that's the thing that happened this week in the Tabletop RPG news.
Yeah. Maybe people shouldn't do a Vecna. Maybe, that's my business advice for the day. Don't do a Vecna.
I will try not to. Lord, imagine.
You're not going to reveal that, in fact, our dogs make all of our products.
If they did, I would market the hell out of that. I think everyone would be really impressed. Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're kind of near the end of the news now.
Yep.
We have a Kickstarter going on right now.
We do. The Gate Pass Gazette Annual 2025. I mean, just yesterday, I did the EN Publishing monthly update. So you can watch that on YouTube or Facebook if you want to see me rambling for half an hour about what we're doing at EN Publishing. I talked a little bit about it there. But there is 1 week left. So it's ending next Thursday, the 26th of February. And that's on BackerKit. Links are in the show notes if you're interested in picking up a copy of that. And if you are a Patreon backer for the Gate Pass Gazette, you have a discounted version. If you go to the Patreon website, you can get the links in there. And if you want the discount and you're not currently a Patreon backer, you can become one and then get the link and get the discounted tier. So there you go.
Yeah, if you want to know more about all the stuff we're doing, our fulfillment schedules, and the stuff we've got upcoming, definitely check out Jess's update yesterday. It's on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
You can go and watch that, and she'll tell you all about it.
I will, and we do them every month. So if you want to come and hang out, it's just a casual chat where you can ask me any questions directly. If you don't want to send me an email. Yeah.
And with that, I think we're done. We're done for the week.
Done. Okay.
We are done.
Good.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. I've just realised, what's the date today? The 20th.
20th.
It's rained every day since New Year's Day.
In the UK,
That's 51 days in a row now.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking at the weather. I'm going to have to take my dog out for a walk after this in this weather. So joy of joys.
We've had to have new guttering put on.
I've started building an ark.
Well, I've got 2 dogs. We're ready to start with the ark. That's what it is, isn't it?
Between us, we have 3 male dogs. I'm sure that will work. That will be fine.
On a cat. Yeah. On a cat. 1 cat.
Oh, well, the cat balances that out. Then it's fine.
Yeah.
Good.
Right. Anyway. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll be back same time, same place next week with the week's TTRPG news. We didn't mention at the top of the show. Should have done. If you're listening to this on audio, you can join us live on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook every week and watch this train wreck with your own very eyeballs.
Yes, you may.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All the tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morrus is unofficial tabletop RPG.